why Buddha teach us the discipline. So now in order to change ourselves, right? We have a discipline. So what does discipline do? Discipline is a tool that narrow our focus to get things done first. That's the purpose of discipline. First, Buddha taught us about how do we discipline our body, right? Why? Because it's easier. Then after that, Buddha taught us about how do we control our verbal action. It's because it's a little bit harder than controlling your body, right? Then at the end, Buddha taught us about how do you control, how do you discipline your mind, because that's the hardest part. One way to understand discipline, right, is that nothing in this world is for free. If you want something, you need to do something. Everything costs you something in our life. And even, doing nothing costs a lot of things. So that's why, we talk about all these discipline, bodily discipline, verbal discipline, mental discipline, right? So we have to put this discipline in our daily life, but not all of them together, you understand? We need to put those discipline little by little, the changes, small changes first. So, do not instantly think of changing your life. You need to change something in your life first. Then, you can change your life. And, the teachings that has taught by Buddha, right, is very general thing. But all of us, we are very different sentient beings, from each other. The way you think, the way I think is very different. The way you eat, the way I eat is very different, right? So in order to understand who you are as a person, you need to contemplate on how you physically behave, how you verbally behave, how you mentally behave. These three things. You really need to spend some time with yourself so you can understand yourself. Most of the people, they don't understand themselves that well. And one of the famous way to understand oneself is to be alone, right? Be alone in your room. But these days, people cannot be alone. If they are alone, then they will just go crazy, right? Yeah. So I think, one of the things that we must practice in our life is to be alone, really. So for at least an hour, per day. This is the thing that I really cannot understand, how people are not happy when they got nothing to do. For me, that's the peace. When I have nothing to do, I feel very stress-free, very happy. But these days, right, when people have nothing to do, then they are so unhappy and stressed. This is something that I cannot understand. His Holiness Sajja Phawang, right, the 41st, he always said, if you really want to be a good practitioner, right, it is not the dharma that makes you better. It is the person itself that makes you better. Now, you might think of course, Rinpoche, I want to be peaceful with what I want to be alone and be happy about it, right? But how come, we always have to do something? How come we always have to think about others, right? How come I cannot be with myself? Why I'm distracted all the time? Yeah, and this is also very paradoxical conditions, because when you are with yourself, right, mentally, you are more peaceful, right? But our body is not designed in that way. Our body is designed our body is outbound oriented. It can only see things that is external. It can never see that is inside you. You understand? All the same thing. We can smell things that is outside of our body. We cannot smell things inside of our body. It doesn't mean that there's no smell in our body. There's a lot of smelly things in our body, but we cannot smell. We cannot see things that inside our. We cannot even hear what is how when the blood rush. We really cannot hear anything of that. Why? Because that's how our body is built. That's a very paradoxical condition. Anyway, people talk about how do I be mindful of my body? How can I be mindful of our emotion, right? You don't know, that you have to read Buddhist books to understand your body and your emotion. You have your body with you, you have your emotion with you, that you need to spend some time, pondering about your body, pondering about your emotions. That's meditation on mindfulness of the body and emotion. At the end of this session, I would like to say the great master has says that, what is the source of the happiness? He said that the source of our happiness, in Tibetan it says, like be less greedy and be appreciative of what you have in your life instead of what you do not have in your life. So whenever you feel unhappy, don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you have. This is the biggest problem, the people do not appreciate what we have in our life, really. And we only appreciate when they left. That's the end of our session. Thank you very much.